Hello and welcome to the Long Island weather update. It is June 25th, 2024, and it was a hot one out there today. Not all that humid, but it was hot, and the air quality definitely it wasn't great here in the middle of the island. If you're on the South Shore, though, it was nice. And you can see we did have cirrus going into the skies today ahead of this warm front that we have, actually, because it's going to get even hotter tomorrow. Looking at the weather map. I don't have the weather map up here, but there is a warm front that we have coming up. So I'll put the weather map. I forgot to do that. All right, WPC products are not updating, so we have a problem here. All right, so that's not good. Weather Prediction Center now having a problem as well, so that's nice. But yeah, it was pretty warm out there today. Looking at the skies, you can see the cirrus that we had started filtering the sunshine by the later in the afternoon. Definitely some cirrus around, like streaks of it in the sky there. As you can see, you can kind of see that here on the satellite. Kind of a pretty looking satellite. You can also see the haze in the air too as we start dealing with worse air quality today. And it's pretty warm out there, especially in the middle of the island. The South Shore was nice, but it is brutal here. It still is tonight. Still is. Feels like it's still around 80 degrees here in Mineola, at least my area, Mineola. South Shore has a nice breeze, and you might hear something. That is the second air conditioner. Thank God they finally gave me a second air conditioner for the bedroom because I needed it, especially today because it's hot, very hot in this neighborhood. So South Shore, your temperatures generally are in the low 70s, but in my area, yep, still 77 degrees. Yep, 77 degrees still in my area right now. That's hot. That's very, very hot. 77, just ridiculous heat that we got to deal with here. I mean, it's not that hot, but I mean, it's nighttime. You're coming from the South Shore. You can see we're at 71 on the South Shore, and you come to the middle of the island, it's 77 degrees. You know, it's going to hit you, that heat. And it hit me tonight, man. I was overheating on the way back up here, and then coming back into my building, going up those stairs. It's so hot in that. I don't feel too well right now. I got to cool down. Yeah, and it's not even hot out, and I'm really struggling. Just this neighborhood. I need to be on the South Shore. It's a matter of survival. It's too hot here. Anyway, you can see low 70s. The humidity, let's take a look at the dew points. Let's take a look at the current conditions. At Islip, we're at 73. The dew point's still 54. So the dew points are still low. It's not really even that humid out, but it did manage to hit 90 of all days. All last week during the official heat wave, it didn't hit 90, but at Islip, it hit 90 today, and that was because of the killer westerly winds that we had today. Though it was less humid, we had killer westerly winds, and so we're going to look at the highs now. And you can see temperatures across Long Island right around 90 degrees for highs. Even on the South Shore, before the sea breeze kicked in, it got into the low 90s. However, Central Park was 89. Both LaGuardia and JFK were at 91. 92 at Shirley, 91 at West Hampton. You had to pretty much go all the way out to the Forks, and even there, it was still well into the 80s because of that. I guess none of the sites on the South Shore are reporting anything, or at the buoys only hit 75. So maybe if you were right at the beach, maybe I don't have any readings right at the beach, but you can see it was brutal today. The low humidity though, and lows were in the mid 60s, yeah, pretty much everywhere across the area. So yeah, it felt pretty much like Jersey today with that killer westerly wind, and a good chunk of Jersey is a heat advisory for tomorrow. They were also in the low 90s as well. Miller Air Park got to 93, but you'll see that's Coilfield actually. Dew point's 56 there, 91 at Miller Air Park for a high. But the dew point's low, 57. And that's what made the difference today, is we had the lower dew points that made things more comfortable. That made all the difference in the world as far as, yeah, it was hot, but it wasn't that humid today. In fact, in the height of the day, we even had some dew points that got down to the 40s in some parts of the area. So you could see the northwest wind, and then the sea breeze kicked in. It started dropping the temperatures down pretty quick. Out in Suffolk County there, but not here. I don't think we ever even got a sea breeze here in Mineola. So, yeah, pretty brutal out there. To me, I mean, yeah, the humidity is worse, obviously, but 90 degrees heat, I can't take the heat, whether I can't take the dry heat, and I really can't take the humid heat, but I can't really deal with any kind of heat. So we'll just pull up the underground readings, and you'll see temperatures still in the mid to upper 70s in the middle of the island, which really isn't that bad, I guess, but for some reason, compared to on the South Shore, where it was a nice breeze and it was in the low 70s, look at that. Long Beach, they're in the 60s right now. You come up here, it just feels hot. You know, it just got to me tonight. But yeah, you could see definitely a lot better. Ocean Beach. Let's see what Ocean Beach got up to today. We'll take a look and see if they got up to 90 right on the South Shore. All right, it definitely did not hit 101. So their sensor is faulty. So definitely did not hit 101. I'd just like to get a reading from right on the beach. Well, we can do West Hampton Dunes. Maybe that one will have an accurate reading here. I'm going to be moving slow because I'm not feeling well. So, yeah, 89.8. So, yeah, you can see where there wasn't a sea breeze. So look what happened when the sea breeze hit right around 2:44. The temperature went from near 90 down to the 70s in minutes, basically. Yeah, there's your sea breeze right there. Very sharp effect there. And I'm sure that if you were in Massapequa, you'd have the same sharp effect as well. So it said they hit 95 there. I don't know if I'm buying that, but you can see when the sea breeze came in, you can see the temperature drop 10 degrees. I don't think it hit 95. Probably something wrong with their sensor. Sometimes people don't have their sensors in the shade, especially on this site. And look at Long Beach. Man, Lido Beach is only 66 right now. Oh, man. 65 actually being reported there right now. That's a whole 12 degrees cooler than here in the hellhole of Mineola. It only hit 84 though, so maybe they did actually wind up getting a bit of a... And it was an early 84. Sea breeze there kicked in around 11:20, and then it dropped things into the mid-70s. But then it went back up again. Looks like the sea breeze retreated for a little bit, and then it went down again. It's very interesting looking at these local stations, that's for sure. Seeing where the sea breeze was. Oh, man, I tell you. So there you go. If you're on the South Shore, let's look at one more town here. Wantaw, South Wantaw. Probably a little bit warmer there. Probably still managed to hit 90 there. Let's see. 92. Yep. You can see these sea breeze, though, as it came in. Dropped the temperatures down quite a bit when it came in. Now, I don't think Jersey got any kind of sea breeze at all. Doubt it. So, anyway. Let's pan out on the satellite here. And we'll pan out. That's the Storm Prediction Center. Let's pan out on the satellite. So you can see there's a front across the Midwest. You see thunderstorms. And they had a lot of severe weather in Michigan earlier today, which has resulted in a lot of power outages. You see some more thunderstorms popping up across the Midwest. And tomorrow we're going to be in that warm sector with that warm front coming through. But they did have a lot of severe weather in the Midwest today. You can see there's that slight risk in the Midwest. But early this morning, if we go to the storm reports, you'll see Michigan. Michigan was hit very hard. Let me just go back over that. You can see there's a lot in Michigan and in Indiana. It looked like there were a couple of 10 tornadoes today, too, in the upper Midwest. 135 reports of wind damage and hail as well. A lot of that in the Great Lakes area and Michigan as well. If we go to poweroutage.us, Michigan was red last time. It's orange. So we still have 81,264 customers without power in Michigan and 88,105 customers without power in Indiana. So they were hit pretty hard by these storms. And we're going to actually look at some of these observations from some of these hard-hit areas in Michigan. I'm going to go back and take a look and show you peak wind gusts. All right, so we're going to look for the peak wind gusts here. I can probably put that up here, perhaps. Wind gust. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, so it kind of shows you. Look at this. 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Muskegon. So these storms had a lot of straight-line winds. 63 miles an hour in Sheboygan. 45-mile-an-hour wind gust in Milwaukee with these storms. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust near Kalamazoo. So, yeah, these storms are pretty bad. They wound up hitting Michigan, and they caused a lot of straight line wind damage, and then into Indiana too as well. We have some pretty strong wind gusts. Fort 51 south of Fort Wayne. 78-mile-an-hour wind gusts reported here at Bloomington in Monroe County. Wow, that's impressive. That's really impressive. So this is we got to worry about tomorrow as this severe weather area moves into our neck of the woods. And if you look at dew points here, we'll just show dew point on the screen here. You can see that there's definitely much more humid air that's going to be coming in our direction for tomorrow. So let's look at our highs and lows for the day in the almanac here. And we got an air quality alert in effect for South Shore, Connecticut there. Just the South Shore, Connecticut, and to, yeah, interesting. And we got the heat advisory as well. So let's go look at tomorrow. High of not. Let's look at the. I'm sorry. See, I told you I'm out of it. I'm not feeling well. I'm trying to get through this. But I can't. I don't know. Just I felt okay. I felt tired, and then when I got back to Mineola, I just felt really sick. This town just makes me feel ill. All right, high of 90 and a low of 65 at Islip. High was 10 degrees above normal, 6 degrees above normal for the day. Central Park, a high of 90 there, so Central Park did hit 90. Low of 69, 5 degrees above normal for the day. And Newark, I'm sure even hotter than that. Oh, yeah, 94 at Newark. High of 94 and a low of 66 for the day at Newark. So let's... did I close Storm Prediction Center up? I did close Storm Prediction Center up. All right. Well, I told you I'm out of it. Just not feeling well. I took a headache pill. Hopefully it'll help. Just I can't take the heat. But just when you go into a hot... It's like when you step in the Mineola, it's like you're stepping into a furnace. It's so hot here. Especially in my neighborhood. So here's the convective outlook for tomorrow, and you see the slight risk is now involved in our area. So most of Pennsylvania, a lot of West Virginia, and this goes into the entire state of New Jersey and southeastern New York, from like the Hudson Valley into New York City and Nassau County, and a marginal risk over Suffolk County. So yeah, they've got us in that risk for severe weather for tomorrow. That's what we're going to be focusing on in this weather update, is that risk for severe weather, as well as the heat, obviously. So we have this cold front coming through, and I'm going to just move this over to the eastern U.S. here. And like I said, it's going to take me some time to get through this weather update. You're just going to have to bear with me. Change this to radar. Okay. So you'll see the southwesterly winds for tomorrow. Here comes the front. A little wave forms along. Look at that. It's even got some reds over us. It's going to be a lot of rain with these storms, too. And this is going to be a kind of a slow-moving cold front. Maybe a wave forms along it. So it's going to enhance the rainfall. So those areas that didn't get that much rain last go-around will have a better chance this go-around. Looking at the northeast, and you can see there's that heavy. It's got some. It looks like right around 8 o'clock again. It looks like that's when we could get hit. Let's look at the. Let's look at the HRRR. I don't know if we have the full HRRR, and hopefully enough of it in. All right, we have the zero HRRR in. So let's see what the HRRR is showing here. Yeah, HRRR is even slower. It doesn't have any of the shower and thunderstorm activity. There might be a pop-up in the afternoon, perhaps along a sea breeze frontal boundary. I'll have to look at the temperatures. But you'll see here, it's not really moving it in until later, and it's not really showing much severe weather. But you can see it takes a while. The rain might linger into Thursday morning, and then finally it starts moving out. And the rest of the day, Thursday, should have increasing sunshine. But yeah, I'm still concerned about this HRRR doesn't show it, but let's jump over to the NAM, and you'll see the NAM 3 is a little different now. I don't have enough of the 0Z NAM 3, and I'll have to look at the 18Z. But the NAM is definitely much more intense with the line. It actually gets the thunderstorm activities starting around 6 o'clock. It's got some, and then a lot of heavy thunderstorm activity centered around New Jersey, but that could make its way into Long Island 8, 9 o'clock, and we could have heavy rain. And then still not done with that. Could be another batch of rain And then, yeah, so that's the NAM. The 0Z NAM, I don't think it's going to take us far enough out. Yeah, it's only going to take us out to that far, which is not far enough. So, now that you looked at all that, let's go back to the HRRR here and look at the dew points and wind flow. I'm going to go over several models for tomorrow here. So, see, dew point's going to be on the rise tonight, southwesterly winds, but you notice it's more of a west-southwesterly flow, which is why I think it's going to be very hot. And I'm surprised they haven't put that heat advisor into Nassau County, because I think tomorrow it's going to exceed the criteria for the heat advisory for Nassau County and perhaps even the North Shore of Suffolk. The South Shore will be cooler. The sea breeze will intensify by the afternoon. But you can see those dew points are pretty high. This is the HRRR. You see the dew points very high as we get toward the evening. So very muggy, but there's a southerly flow, but get very high dew points. And then you can see the wind start to slowly shift as we get toward Thursday morning. But you notice HRRR takes into the afternoon to really bring the dry air, and it still doesn't even want to bring it in, even at 0Z. It looks like it's got the front just kind of stalled out over us here. This is what the HRRR is doing. You can see it's got almost the front just stalled out, and the humidity may hang on until the evening. So this is kind of interesting to see. This is the HRRR we're looking at again. So temperatures, let's go and look at temperatures here. And tomorrow, you can see not going to be dropping that much tonight. And then tomorrow, it's going to be pretty hot. I would say 95 to 100 in Jersey. And honestly, I think we could see that 90. We'll see 90s in the city and Nassau County as well. Maybe if you're on the South Shore, you avoid it. Suffolk County, maybe you'll avoid it. But Nassau County and maybe Northwest Suffolk, I think you could have a good chance of seeing 90 degrees tomorrow. But you do see the sea breeze do develop by the afternoon, and that could set off some more thunderstorms. And then obviously not going to drop much tomorrow night. And then for Thursday, highs will be in the 80s, mid to upper 80s probably, if that front is slow. So let's look at total accumulated precip here, and we'll look at several models of this. First, we'll do the HRRR. You can see HRRR really, because it's so slow with the front, it's keeping the thunderstorm activity mostly to the north and the west. I'm hoping this HRRR is wrong. I really want it to be wrong on so many levels. So let's look at the NAM 12, or yeah, we'll do the NAM. Well, the NAM 3. All right, now I don't have enough of the 0Z, but you can see, I'll show you how much wetter the NAM is. Yeah, big difference. You can see, you could give New Jersey perhaps as much as 2 inches or more in some spots, depending on where this rain falls. And even Long Island could see 1 to 2 inches. This is the NAM at 18Z. All right, let's go to the GFS now. And the GFS also showing perhaps as much of an inch. Actually, yeah, that's good. So it shows as much of it as an inch perhaps in Nassau County. Maybe it depends on where these storms hit as to who's going to see the rain, obviously. And that's the challenge here. So let's go look at dew points and wind flow on the GFS here. I'm backing this on the GFS. You can see that westerly flow again. There's a west-southwesterly flow. That's going to mean we're going to blaze, all right? I think the models are underestimating how hot it's going to get tomorrow. And then for Thursday, GFS is a little quicker bringing the dry air in. It's a little quicker than the HRRR. But this is the 18Z run of the GFS. And then Friday we'd have a better push of dry air coming in. You can see the front kind of just doesn't really want to, it kind of gets hung up to the south. So a little bit of that damn stall front syndrome again. So let's go and look at the let's look at a few more models here as far as thunderstorms go. HDRPS. Let's look at this one. Let's see what this one is showing for tomorrow. This is 18Z run, so it's showing, yeah, it's bringing it in later. Like, I think it's bringing in later. Definitely seems to be a trend to like slow this thing down a little bit. And that the slower it moves, the less likely we're going to see the severe weather because it'll have a chance to weaken. So that is the HDRPS. Does it have a radar simulation? Does not have a radar. It's just this is just a 1 hour precip rate. Okay. Let's go back to the HRRR here. So I don't know if we're going to be able to look at a sounding for Thursday. I'm just curious. We'll just really focus more on the severe weather, but let's just see something for a minute. Yeah, it does clear it out by the afternoon. Okay. Let's now shift gears here. Let's. We kind of looked at all these models here. Severe weather. I'll just go and look at the skies. Obviously, this is the RGM. All right, so obviously tomorrow we'll have some, haze, cirrus around, jet chunk. There'll be sunshine though, so that's why I think it's going to warm up. And then Thursday, yeah, by the afternoon, that's when I think you'd see more of a tendency for clearer skies. Let's shift to another website. Let's go to Event to Sky because we got to look at Cape. That's the next thing we got to look at. So move this to tomorrow. 2 o'clock, 11 hours. There's some good Cape along the Jersey Shore. And then, again, it's mostly North Shore and Jersey that we see some Cape around 5. 8 o'clock as well, we see that as well. Because there's going to be a sea breeze front eventually. There will be a sea breeze tomorrow. It's just, it might take into the afternoon to really reach most of Long Island. And the damage will be done as far as hitting the 90s go, I think. But you can see there's the Cape. It's mostly inland on this. We'll do the lifted index as well. Lifted index actually is impressive on Long Island. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good lifted index right there. So we'll go with temperatures now for tomorrow. And just to visualize again. So 1 o'clock tomorrow, you can see it's got 90s. So that's why I think we'll have 90s. Yes, there'll be a sea breeze. That'll cool the South Shore down. But once the air makes it inland, it's going to heat up. And the fetch is short. So you see there's more of a westerly component here with the wind inland. So again, you'll want to be on the South Shore and not inland because it's going to be hot. Especially North Shore, Suffolk, Nassau County. You're going to be dealing with 90s in Jersey. You're going to roast. You're going to roast in Jersey. So it's going to be could be 100 degrees there perhaps. The models underestimate how hot it gets in Jersey. So, and I think they're underestimating the heat for tomorrow as well. The sea breeze does kick in a little more by the afternoon. So definitely, the South Shore will be a nice place to be. Everywhere else definitely won't be. So again, you got to be on the South Shore. That's where you got to be. That's where you got to be. The middle is just a desert. So let's look at desert as in desert as heat and desert as in deserted. So let's go and look at one more model here, windy.com. And look at windy.com and let's see what we got here as far as this also is a thunderstorm kind of threat kind of thing. Let's see what it's showing for tomorrow. So you can see here that, it's showing it over Jersey to start. And it really definitely has, I don't know what this is exactly. I'm just putting thunderstorms on here. So this is using the Euro. And then it shows a little more activity. Right around 7 o'clock, we would get nailed by some thunderstorms. This looks a lot like the NAM, actually. Wondering if that's what it's using. It's using the Euro, but this is the thunderstorm threat. We can go to menu here and just look at a couple of other things we can do as well. Let's see if we have any other perhaps meters we could use here. Guess not. But yes, we do have poor air quality as well, so we can do this as well. And you'll see that the air quality is definitely questionable. As we get to a Thursday, it should definitely improve. You see darker blues there. I think that covers everything. Again, I do apologize. I'm starting to finally feel better, but it took a while, man. That walk from the 4041 back home just knocked me out. It's fine on the South Shore. I don't have any problems here. It's like you can't breathe in this town. Anyway, it's not that the snobs care. They don't think I deserve to be with them, but it's a matter of survival. It really is. I'm going to die here. It's too hot. Or I'd just stay inside, I guess. That's depressing. I have to go out. Anyway, save it for the mental health update. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with the weather, severe weather. I'm rambling here for 20 minutes. Normally I'd get this weather update done in half the time, but I'm just kind of slow because I'm not feeling well. So good night. And yeah, 81 in Central Park. So that's kind of like what we have in Mineola. It's just a heat island. It's so hot here. It's a miserable place to live. Good night.